A past unplugged. I lounged on the sun-warmed grass of Rainbow Glade, a secluded spot on the outskirts of our sleepy town, where vibrant wildflowers danced in the breeze. The name came from our childhood imaginations, me, Elise, Juno, and Tara, who had transformed this little sanctuary into a colorful kingdom of dreams. It was said to be the enchanted realm ruled by a benevolent queen and her valiant knight, with a hidden fountain guarded by a loyal fox. Back in the day, we had so many adventures. Today's fantasy had gone silent as Juno was lost in the glow of her phone screen. Juno, I probed, watching her fingers swipe rapidly across the screen, eyes sparkling with whatever endless content captured her attention. The warmth of nostalgia mixed with annoyance flared inside me. How had it come to this? Juno, with her curly auburn hair that caught the sunlight like fire, was always the imaginative one, weaving elaborate tales of mermaids and mythical creatures. Today, however, she was stuck in a world that didn't involve any of us. Elise, who had always played the role of the wise and thoughtful sorceress, appeared absorbed as well in a travel blog, her hazel eyes flickering with dreams of distant lands. Tara, our spirited knight, was busy messaging her new girlfriend, likely sharing every little detail about the blossoming romance. I sighed heavily, making a small pile of grass clippings in my fist. I felt more like a relic from our childhood escapades than an active participant. We had once been inseparable, racing to this glade in anticipation of the stories we would create together. Now they might as well have been on another planet. Hey everyone! I tried again, softer, feeling the tug of sorrow at the thought of our childhood slipping away. Do you think we could do something fun together? I let a hint of hope creep into my voice. Why don't we go explore the ridge, or maybe have a picnic? Elise glanced up, her face momentarily caught between surprise and reluctance. Oh, I just saw this amazing place we could go for ice cream. Just let me finish this first. The way she quickly returned to her phone made it feel like a dismissal. Tara looked up then, smirking, eyes shining with the romantic energy she was currently consumed by. Ice cream sounds great. But did you see what Maddie posted? It's hilarious. She laughed, and of course, everyone else was right back to their phones. A fire burned in my chest. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw my feelings into a cauldron and let them explode into the summer air like fireworks. But I also knew I couldn't do that. Instead, I bit back the frustration swirling around my head like angry bees momentarily stinging my heart. Why did I even bother? Suddenly, my legs moved on their own, carrying me away from the glade. I didn't stop to look back. While the hills tumbled away behind me, I climbed higher, determined to reclaim our faded adventures. Memories flashed before my eyes like holograms as I weaved through the grass. When we had raced each other to the big oak tree, our laughter blending with the wind, feeling like we could conquer the world. Once at the top, I finally stood at the edge of a familiar horizon. Below lay our old playground, the place Juno had twirled in her princess gown, where Elise had told stories of far-off lands, and where Tara had challenged fate itself with her bravery. I missed those days filled with imagined dangers and alliances, debates about fairy tales, and the simple pleasure of spending time together, without distractions. But now, as I looked back at Rainbow Glade, I could barely make out the figures of my friends. They had moved on, seeking acceptance and validation through the glowing screen of their devices. I wanted to scream out to them, to remind them of who they were, and how deeply we had all cared for each other once upon a time. But it was all wrapped up in a haze of electricity and notifications that I could not cut through. The wind tangled in my hair, and I felt tears stinging my eyes as I took in the beauty around me, wishing I could capture this moment and share it with my friends, not through a picture on social media, but by just remembering it together. I turned away from the site where sunlight painted everything in gold and faded colors. The day felt heavy on my heart. I didn't want what we had shared to become just another long-lost memory. There had to be a way to reconnect without screens, without the noise of technology. As I descended, I noticed a wildflower patch at the base of the hill, the delicate petals dancing with a sense of urgency. A perfect gathering place. I gathered a handful and tucked them into my pocket, deciding to bring them to Rainbow Glade, my own vibrant tapestry of hope. When I returned, I found them still hunched over their screens, and the glow illuminated their faces. But beneath the surface, I saw the same old friends peeking through. Maybe they weren't completely lost yet. "Hey," I called, gathering their attention. "Look at this." Their heads lifted, and for the briefest moment, before they slipped back, I saw glimmers of recognition. "Guys, remember how we used to make flower crowns?" I ventured, pulling the vibrant blooms from my pocket. "We could make crowns, sit here and talk for real. Just like we used to." Elise raised an eyebrow, her interest piqued. Tara raised her phone but paused, finally putting it down. Juno smirked, putting her phone down. "All right, let's do it," Tara said, a grin breaking across her face. "But I get to be the queen." "Fine," Juno said, chuckling. "As long as I'm the enchanting sorceress." And just like that, we started to pull the flowers apart, laughing and teasing, weaving our personal crowns. I felt the edges of my worries melt away, replaced with the joy of my best friends beside me. In that moment, I remembered that moments could be made real again. We weren't just shadows. We had the power to res-park our connection. And I hoped somehow beneath the screens, the essence of our friendship was still alive, waiting patiently to be summoned back into the light. As the colorful crowns took shape in our hands, something magical began to shift in the air. The laughter we shared rang with a bright, genuine quality that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. With each petal we wove into our crowns, pink clover, yellow dandelion, and the vibrant purple of wild violets, we infused a part of our old selves back into the experience. "Okay, so what is each flower's magical power?" I suggested, a playful tone creeping into my voice, hoping to spark the imaginative tales we once spun so effortlessly. "The clover gives us luck and adventure," Juno declared, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "And the dandelions? They're for wishes, obviously. Every time you blow one, you must wish for something truly great." "I'll wish for ice cream." Tara laughed, her crown growing unsteady atop her messy bun, as she positioned a vibrant yellow flower, just a bit too precariously. "Fashion trends, Tara, not ice cream," I joked. And for a moment, it felt like we were whisked back to a time before distractions, our imaginations reconnecting like a bridge crossing a forgotten stream. Elise positioned a soft purple bloom on top of her crown and sighed dreamily. "And the violets? I think they're for love, or maybe friendship," she suggested, her voice slightly shy, but filled with warmth. "Let's say both," I added, glancing at Elise. A thrill shot through me, a fleeting recognition that I wanted more than friendship from her. I tried to shake off the feeling, focusing instead on the crowns that were beginning to blossom into something quite beautiful. Once we finished, we adorned each other's heads with the makeshift crowns. Tara posed dramatically, her hands on her hips, as if preparing for a royal photo shoot. "Behold, the Queen of Rainbow Glade." We all laughed, the sound reverberating off the hillside and filling the air with an energy of renewal. I felt at ease, the weight of yesterday's worries gently lifted like steam rising from a warm cup of tea. This was how it should be, simple, joyful together. And just when I felt like I had formed a solid connection with them again, something stirred beneath the light joy. It was the weight of how quickly worlds had shifted away from this, how fragile the moments seemed. I wished more than anything to keep us anchored to these fleeting minutes. But even as we dined on imaginary feasts made from sunlight and friendship, I could feel the pull of our phones, distracting, relentless. I glanced at Juno, who had that glimmer of mischief in her eyes, likely on the verge of sharing something from her phone again. "I think our flower crowns deserve a selfie before they wilt," she said. And just as she pulled out her phone, I felt a pang of disappointment. "Maybe let's just enjoy being us for a while," I ventured tentatively. "No phones, no cameras, just us in the moment." The air grew still, and their eyes darted to one another. I held my breath, hoping for their understanding. I was tired of the temporary snapshots of our lives. I wanted something deeper. Elise raised an eyebrow thoughtfully. You're right. It has been so long since we just existed." Tara's face lit up, a smile slowly broadening. "Okay, let's embrace the moment. No phones. Just this, our crowns, our laughter, this beautiful day." A wave of relief washed over me as the phones were reluctantly set aside, their screens extinguished for the time being. The crown of violets on my head suddenly felt more than a whimsical decoration. It felt like a promise connected to the four of us sitting in that field. As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden rays atop the grassy expanse, we took to reenacting our childhood adventures, transforming mundane moments into quests of bravery and wonder once more. Racing toward the edge of the glade, we shared stories and dreams, weaving our hopes and fears into the fabric of our playful antics. It was a balancing act of nostalgia and newness, as we revisited old tales, but slowly began to carve out fresh narratives. What about the time Juno thought she could douse the scary shadow monster with a power-up flower? I prompted, half teasing. I took it down right with my laser eyes. Juno bragged, her confidence shining through. And you were terrified. I had the power of socks, though, those mystical socks of doom, I countered, shaking my hands in mock fear. And we all burst into laughter. As the sun began to paint the horizon in hues of pink and orange, it felt like some unseen force that had once driven us apart was dissipating. The laughter, the shared glances, the raw enjoyment of life creeping back so easily. It felt as if we had found lost treasure. Once the shadows began stretching across the glade, Elise's expression turned contemplative. Can we promise to do this more often? Just be together. A wave of warmth spread through me at the thought. Absolutely. No more forgetting about this space we created together. Each nod in agreement felt like an affirmation of our friendship, an acknowledgement that we were real, messy, and vibrant together, not just digital avatars caught in the cyberspace trap. In the midst of it all, I glanced to the side and caught Elise's eyes. A shiver of something more passed between us. It was deeper than friendship, a blossoming potential that thrummed in the air like the first notes of a song yet to be played. Tara clapped her hands, breaking the moment and drawing our attention. Who wants more crowns for round 2? We need more colors. I'm in. But for this round, let's make them bigger, Juno exclaimed, suddenly finding that playful spirit again. With laughter spilling over and my heart hopeful, I knew that as we dove back into our imaginative kingdom, this time we wouldn't let anything pull us apart for long. We would nurture this connection and keep adventuring together. After all, the power of friendship was far more enchanting than any screen could ever provide. And maybe, just maybe, amidst all the laughter, I would find the courage to explore what was slowly blooming between me and Elise too. As we dove back into crafting crowns, the glade filled with a sense of magic, an invisible thread woven between us. The laughter and playful banter fused into an afternoon harmony that resonated with the heartbeat of our shared memories. All right, who's going to lead us in the ceremonial dance of the flowers? Tara declared, sashaying dramatically, as if we were on a grand stage, determined to be the star of our own enchanted tale. Dance? We need music for that. Juno interjected with her playful smirk, her fingers drumming against her thigh, as though she were already summoning a soundtrack. I can't exactly channel my inner fairy queen without a bit of melody. Then let's make our own music, I suggested. No instruments. No problem. Let's do a soundscape of our own. Honestly, I had no idea how to accomplish that, but the ideas began to bubble up. Okay, Juno chimed in, enthusiasm illuminating her face. I'll make bird sounds. Tara, you take the drums with your feet. As we laughed and joined in spontaneously, impressions of various instruments filled the space around us. I clapped my hands to mimic a beat, and Elise twirled gracefully, her flower crown bouncing with the motion. Tara stomped her feet dramatically, living up to her role as our spirited knight, and Juno started chirping like a bird, complete with exaggerated gestures. The warmth of our camaraderie radiated, and I felt a rush of joy at how we allowed ourselves to simply exist in the moment, free from the chains of technology. I had forgotten how liberating it felt to be silly with friends, to unleash the childish magic that still resided within us, dormant but ready to bloom again. As our cacophony of laughter and sound filled Rainbow Glade, the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows around us while gilding everything with golden tones. We became entirely consumed by our play, unaware of time passing, lost in this world we had created. Okay, time to spread the energy. Everyone in a circle, Elise urged after a few more spontaneous beats, forming a human chain that curiously connected us all. hands linking together. Let's do a flower fairy chain. Juno chuckled. We're going to make the ultimate flower festival then. We swayed side to side, linked arm in arm, creating an elaborate chain of laughter and movement, our bodies dancing together as we smiled wide. As we twirled and flailed to our imaginary music, I felt a sense of belonging wash over me, blankets of warmth and friendship wrapping around me. As we spun in a circle, I felt my heart accelerate, my gaze drifting to Elise's face. Her laughter was musical, rich and full of life, as she let go of inhibitions, twirling beneath the fading sunlight. For a moment, it was as if the world faded away, and it was just the two of us. Or maybe just the whole circle of friends, dizzy with joy. Let's take a break, Tara exclaimed between breaths, collapsing to the grass, her laughter still echoing in the air. I'm exhausted but incredibly alive. As we laid back on the cool earth, the crown of flowers now all stretched out and splayed on our heads, the sky transformed into a canvas of twilight colors. I felt the tension that had rooted itself in my chest start to loosen, a softening that felt like a gentle whisper. This friendship mattered deeply. But beneath that joy lurked another feeling, one I struggled to articulate. Something was stirring inside me, blossoming steadily every time Elise laughed, or the way she caught my gaze. The same gaze that felt familiar, and yet uncharted. What's next, Queen? Tara asked, reclining back and staring up at the stars forming overhead. The first twinkling lights began illuminating the darkening sky, casting an enchanting glow over our glade. We chatted about dreams and plans, exchanging giddy ideas for future escapades. We envisioned camping trips under the stars, road trips to nearby waterfalls, and crafting more fairy crowns throughout the summer. Each suggestion was met with enthusiasm, our imaginations reigniting. I think we could totally perform a play here next summer, Juno suggested. With costumes and everything, we can create our own characters. Count me in, Tara chimed enthusiastically. Together, we formed units of excitement, tossing around possible plotlines, roles, and our own fairy tale twists. It didn't matter that the ideas were silly. It mattered that we were present and involved, collaborating together as we had when we were younger. As the vibrant chatter continued, my gaze again fell on Elise, who casually brushed a strand of hair from her face. Suddenly, our eyes locked, and an unexpected weight settled between us, heavy yet electrifying. I'm glad we came here today, I said softly, finally working up the courage to vocalize the feeling welling in my chest. I've missed this. I've missed you all. Your laughter, the way we used to feel free, everything. Elise nodded thoughtfully, her expression mirroring my sentiment. I didn't realize how much I missed it too, until this moment, she admitted. Being ourselves, not being tied down by the expectations of the outside world. What's the outside world anyway? Tara chimed in with a playful pout. It's no fun compared to this. Exactly, I replied, suddenly feeling bold. I want to hold on to this feeling, this energy of just us, no distractions. Forever, Juno declared dramatically, both hands to her heart. We all laughed in agreement, but I couldn't shake the weight of my own truth. Was it too much to hope that maybe this moment would blossom into something more? Something beyond playful friendship? As the warmth of the stars embraced us, I felt an undeniable urge to bridge the gap between us. Elise, I began hesitantly, my heart racing. Yeah, she turned to me, that curious spark alight in her hazel eyes. My voice trembled. I've been feeling something more, something deeper than friendship. But before I could finish, a commotion broke out as Tara and Juno wrestled playfully for a crown that had slipped off. Laughter erupted once again, and the moment I had built up all of my courage for evaporated like morning dew under the rising sun. And yet, in the midst of the chaos, Elise caught my eye again, her smile warm and inviting. It was as though she understood without words. I sensed it, a shared recognition that lingered softly in the air between us. All right, I said, a breath of resolve filling me. Let's promise to always find our way back here when we need it, when the world gets too loud or overwhelming. Agreed, Elise said. This will always be our sanctuary, a reminder of who we are. With those words, I felt a fresh thread securing our friendship, a reminder that we could always return to our shared magic. And although I hadn't spoken my truth just yet, a small flicker of hope ignited in my heart. As we lay beneath the stars united in joy and tenderness, I knew I would find a way to express the depth of my feelings in time. For now, we shared not just a space in a glade, but an unbreakable bond that we would nurture and grow together. As the stars twinkled above us, painting the dark canvas of the night with shimmering lights, a sense of peace enveloped Rainbow Glade. We lay sprawled on the soft grass, the laughter having subsided into gentle whispers and shared secrets. The air was cool now, a soothing contrast to the warmth of the day, and a gentle breeze stirred, carrying with it the sweet scent of blooming wildflowers. In that moment of quietude, I felt as if the struggles of the past, those worries of technology drawing us apart, and the weight of unspoken feelings, were but distant echoes. Here, surrounded by my friends, I found a renewed sense of belonging, one that wrapped around my heart like the crown of wildflowers we had crafted together. "Let's do our favorite thing, shall we?" Tara suggested lazily, breaking the silence. "Let's tell stories, one fantasy each, and we'll build a world from there." "Oh yes, I want to hear about the mystical moonlight forest." Juno chimed just as excited, her eyes sparkling with inspiration from the long shadows cast by the trees. "All right, I'll start," Elise declared, her voice resonating with a captivating energy, her flower crown still perched proudly on her head. The way her expression shifted when she delved into her character drew me in, her passion igniting something within me. In a realm where dreams come to life beneath the glow of the moon. And just like that, our imaginations took flight, weaving stories that shimmered with adventure and enchantment. I listened intently as Elise spun her tale, her words painting vivid images of fairy tale woods, filled with whimsical creatures and hidden treasures. As I glimpsed the joy visible in her eyes, I couldn't help but imagine a new story, one that included me and her at the heart of an adventure, discovering not only mystical realms, but exploring the depths of what it meant to be together beyond friendship. Each of us took turns, building upon each other's stories until they intertwined. It was like crafting a tapestry of our dreams, and it felt impossibly magical, an experience I wished could last forever. As the night deepened and constellations danced overhead, our shared laughter echoed among the trees. Finally, in a quieter moment, I felt the urge stirring within me once more. This time, I wouldn't let it slip away. "Elise," I began softly, heart racing once more. "Remember what we talked about earlier? About being real and honest? I want you to know that I cherish our friendship more than anything. But there's more. I think I'm falling for you." The silence that followed felt thick, almost palpable. But as I looked at her, I saw an understanding reflected back at me, a glimmer of something deeper. Her hazel eyes sparkled under the starlight, and I searched for any hint of response. A smile broke across her face, bright and warm, and she leaned closer. "You know what?" she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I feel the same. I've been scared of ruining our friendship, of crossing into unknown territory, but I think our bond is strong enough to explore that together." Relief washed over me, a wave of joy that felt so monumental in comparison to the tension I had carried. "So where do we go from here?" "Well," Elise said, glancing at our friends who were momentarily absorbed in their own stories, "how about we start by just being honest with each other? No more hiding how we feel. We've already stepped into the magic of our friendship. Maybe we can dance into this new adventure together." I nodded, heart soaring as the realization settled in. The magic was not just in the glade, but in us, thriving and blossoming between two friends who dared to take a step forward. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled like 1,000 shared secrets waiting to be discovered, I felt a surge of gratitude for this moment, for this glade that had once been a kingdom of childhood imagination, but now transformed into a sanctuary of hope, love, and endless possibilities. Together, we would embark on a new journey, one where our friendship could flourish in unexpected ways, and where we could rediscover the wonder of each other's hearts. With the adventure just beginning, I smiled at Elise, her laughter a promise that the magic we had spun together wouldn't fade away. We would explore this realm of feelings hand in hand, creating a new chapter in our story, one filled with honesty, love, and the enduring strength of friendship. And as I lay back, gazing up at the beauty of the stars, I truly understood that we had not only connected through laughter and tales, but had reignited a bond that could only grow stronger from here on out. The night unfurled like a new fairy tale waiting to be forged, a tale of us, with all its untold wonders just beginning to spark.